Coming up today at 5 o'clock, the smoke is beginning to lessen. We look for improving conditions by the weekend. Why? We're tracking rain. I'll have your extended forecast next.
The University of Idaho says its fight against coronavirus on campus appears to be working. Tonight we hear about a new method they're using to detect COVID cases in students.
But we're obligated. There's a serious obligation to this money.
The city of Spokane accepted a $4 million grant agreement to study the process of adding fluoride to the drinking water. It's a decision Mayor Woodward is criticizing today.
Well, today marks another day of hazardous air quality all across the inland Northwest. Everyone recommended to stay inside if you can. The first chance for improvement will likely come Friday and into the weekend, with rain showers expected all across the Spokane area. And across the state line, Coeur d'Alene experiencing slightly better conditions right now, but still considered very unhealthy air quality. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here with us tonight. I'm Whitney Ward.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Mark Hanrahan. Let's get right to our top story tonight. Of course, that thick layer of smoke lingering over the inland Northwest. We have seen slight improvements, as Whitney mentioned, to our air quality, but we are still waiting on that rain later this week to clear everything out.
Yeah, Tom Sherry joining us now. And Tom, that weekend rain just can't come soon enough.
Yeah, about a 50% chance we might get rain Friday night and again on Saturday. And boy, we hope we're in that right part of that 50%. You can tell right now with the visible satellite imagery, this is picking up the smoke. Everywhere you see it really black right here, that's the smoke. It looks like it's a little less smoky to the north of Spokane and also in portions of northern Idaho, but pretty much from Spokane County and Kootenai County to the south and then also to the west of us, that's where you can see the smoke. Dense smoke also across areas of western Oregon and central Oregon, as well as south central Washington state. We'll look for improving air quality at times, and quite frankly, as of the last hour, we were at 302 on the air quality index. That's at the bottom end of the hazardous range. The hazardous range starts at 300. To put that in perspective, on Sunday, we were at 499. 500 is the top end of the hazardous range. So slightly improving air quality, at least at the last hour's check. We'll get the latest one coming up in just a couple of minutes. Now, take a look at the current conditions. We're at 77 degrees and a little bit of that breeze out of the east-northeast. I think that's what's helped to improve us a little bit, that easterly breeze. It needs to have a lot more velocity, but right now it's only in the single digits. So overall, dense smoke expected this evening and overnight with a low of 55. More smoke in hazy areas tomorrow. We'll look for temperatures to climb into the mid-70s. For the weekend, again, should be improving smoke conditions. As rain develops Friday night into Saturday, we'll look for less smoke on Sunday and a high of 73. We've got our own Thomas Patrick out in the storm tracker right now. What's the latest observation out there, Thomas?
Yeah, Tom, we're tracking the air quality from the mobile storm tracker as you are from the weather center back on the South Hill. And I do have to say conditions do look a bit better today than they have recently. In fact, as you look out the front of our windshield, yes, that is the sun in the sky. It's the most sunshine that I've seen since about Friday, I would assume. And yes, those AQI values closer to 300 as opposed to 500. But here's the thing. Forecasting the wildfire smoke is actually quite difficult from a meteorological perspective, because here's the deal. A lot of computer models that help us with the guidance and the forecasting actually don't even consider wildfire smoke altogether. There's one particular model that we do rely quite heavily on. It's called the HRRR, High Resolution Rapid Refresh, and they have an experimental wildfire smoke model integrated in that system. But here's the thing, it still only goes out to a 48-hour forecast. So anything beyond 2 days of forecasting gets a little bit hit and miss in terms of a wildfire forecast. So we still have to do a lot of hand analysis and taking our observations and analyzing it from there. So here's the thing, as I take you back to the inside of our storm tracker, if you have an app on your phone that just automatically gives you the temperature data, that probably doesn't take into consideration the wildfire smoke, as I mentioned. So if it says in the 80s or 90s, well, it's probably going to be about 10 degrees colder than that based on just what these computer models are saying. Live from the mobile storm tracker, I'm meteorologist Thomas Patrick. Back to you in the studio.
Thomas, thank you very much. Well, right now we know the Medical Lake School District and Whitworth University have canceled in-person classes for tomorrow, so all classes for the Reardon School District will be remote tomorrow. For more information on school closures, just text the word closures to 509-448-2000 and we'll send a link directly to your phone.
And we do want to take a moment just to show you how to check the air quality in your area yourself. So you want to start by going into airnow.gov. So all you have to do is then write in your zip code or your location. Then this dial is going to show you exactly where we sit on the scale right now. And keep in mind right now, this is video that was taken from September 13th at 11 p.m. So this is not the correct number for right this minute, but we are still technically in the hazardous range right now. Also, there is an interactive map. That's where you can check out the conditions all across the state. You can get there by clicking on maps and on data. So the air quality in the region also has a lot of companies closing right now. The Amazon Fulfillment Center, for example, out in Airway Heights, they've temporarily closed. Amazon says they are closely monitoring the air quality right now, but that they closed out of an abundance of caution for employees.
Today, Governor Jay Inslee said it is a somber day in Washington, not only because of the hazardous air quality, but also because of our coronavirus numbers. According to Governor Inslee, yesterday, Washington passed 2,000 coronavirus deaths, and there are more than 80,000 confirmed cases across the state. However, the governor said he is still hopeful.
I am heartened to seeing Washingtonians all over the state in so many ways banding together to fight this a terrible disease.
Governor Inslee says he's happy to see Washingtonians are masking up, limiting contact with people outside of their households, and practicing social distancing. Well, today, coronavirus testing at Washington State University has been moved indoors due to the poor air quality. The National Guard will now be conducting testing from inside Beasley Coliseum. Now the university is asking all students to get tested before the end of the month. Testing is free for all students. All they will need to bring is their Cougar cards. Today, testing is open until 5 p.m., so it just closed. Tomorrow, hours are from noon to 6 p.m. Those wishing to get tested in Pullman are asked to use the entrance off of Orchard Drive.
Meanwhile, the University of Idaho says its fight against coronavirus on campus appears to be working. But school leaders say their work is not done yet. You'll remember the university pledged to test all students returning to Moscow this year for in-person classes. And as KREM 2's Taylor Vito explains tonight, the school has even found some positive cases on campus by testing the wastewater.
To start the 2020 school year, the University of Idaho had perhaps a little more foot traffic than you'd see on other campuses. U of I was welcoming students back to the classroom, while other schools like nearby Washington State University went primarily online due to the COVID-19 pandemic. But weeks later, it appears U of I hasn't seen any massive outbreaks on campus.
So the University of Idaho is very happy with how things are going. Our students have been amazing.
The school has finished its initial round of testing all students living on campus and those attending classes in person. Of the 8,500 tests that have been completed by U of I, just over 1% have come back positive. In a campus-wide memo sent this week, University President Scott Green said the school's efforts are paying off and that students and staff should keep up their efforts.
Things are very positive right now.
For some perspective, Latah County, where U of I is located, has tallied just over 275 positive cases during the pandemic, while just over the state line, neighboring Whitman County, where WSU is located, has logged over 1,000 cases. Now granted, it's worth noting that Whitman County has more people and a normally larger student population. Back in Moscow, U of I says staff researchers have also successfully been testing wastewater on campus for coronavirus.
In doing so, we found a couple of positives that were in a dorm that we might not have otherwise found because they were asymptomatic.
U of I says their plan is to ask students to not travel until Thanksgiving. After that, classes will go online for the rest of the semester.
So if we can just get everybody through to Thanksgiving, but we do have a lot of weeks ahead of us, and one super spreader event could destroy all the hard work.
Meanwhile, the school says they haven't expelled any students for flouting COVID-19 precautions, and Moscow police haven't issued any citations this month for parties. Taylor Vito, KREM 2 News.